Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is none other than Rolo dunksrnice. You already know what it is, and as you can tell, I'm in a very different film room, sneaker room, whatever you want to call it. This spot is like blows my mind. You guys kind of see it here with all the B-roll and everything, with the shoes, the magazine, memorabilia, cards, and all that. This spot is special. This collaboration is special for 2023. Starting things off, I got none other than the GOAT himself. Bum ba da bum, Joe, mother freaking Dan. You guys see it here. There he is. You guys see it. His clothing brand and everything. But here we are. We're doing a review on none other than the 2022. Yes, 2022 with the original, the retro, the re-retro of all the Jordan 2s. And with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, you guys, like I said, I'm here with Marvin. All his links and socials will be down below in the description. We've got the original 87 on the lows and the highs. This is the 2004 pair, and then we have the 2016 followed by the Virgin Abloh, may he rest in peace, the Off-White 2s. This is the last retro of 2022, the Jordan 2 Chicago highs. When I first saw these images online, I was like, wow, these look really good, really great. But I always gotta say, I gotta see them in person. And first impressions, firsthand, what Marvin mentioned was that he thinks this leather is, what would you say?
I don't think the leather is as natural looking as it should, only because there is this polyurethane coat on there, which is, you know, very much different from the rest of the versions that have previously released. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna see all the other versions and check them all out each individually.
I did want to mention to you guys now, the originals, we were pretty much shrink wrapping the sneakers, but unfortunately it didn't work out the way we
tried.
Yeah, we tried. You guys can see it.
So I introduced Rolo to the version that I do, where you shrink wrap the entire shoe but leave just the midsole and just cut out the midsole part. So we attempted at doing that only because it was very difficult to be able to shrink wrap already crumbling midsoles. You know, we were only maybe able to save one, which was the kids pair.
The actual original pair. This one is actually not made in Italy. It's actually made from Taiwan, which I found out today, which is interesting because when we think about original 2s, we think about like, oh, they're made in Italy, great materials, top-notch quality, but in a sense, this is actually made from Taiwan. Upper part where the ankle is actually really soft, genuine leather. That was actually Marvin's first take. He's like, whoa, it's actually like the leather. Unfortunately, the 2s, like we stated, we try to preserve it,
when Rolo tried to do it, I mean, we were kind of tag teaming on this, where he had them in rubber bands. You know, I had to cut the rubber bands, and he trusted me with all of this, put it in the bag, and I showed him the method that I use, and unfortunately it just didn't go because the midsole, you know, it's hard to save.
So we have this one right here, and again, as you can tell, there you go.
But I mean, it's cool to see like all these new versions versus the OGs side by side. So I mean, appreciate you for bringing this by. I'm
gonna bring up the highs next, which this is the one that we had. We were like, all right, cut. We can't do this anymore.
I mean, if you were a fly on the wall and you were to see, we did all the work. He's precision with the knife skills, went all the way around. But unfortunately, you pick up the upper and the bottom just sinks. So
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
But I mean, it's still cool to see, like, just to be able to try and preserve it as much as we could to have you guys see a video here.
So there it is. There's the originals. I did want to say, comparing the 2 from the latest retro, the 2022 pair, alongside with the original pair, there's a notable difference. Now, I don't know if it's because it's due to age or they're just a worn pair. There's a notable difference. It's a lot softer. You can easily tell that it's just like one of the best materials that they use from the very beginning. There's not much I could say about this shoe. Yes, it's a retro. Yes, it's not going to be the same as, you know, the originals or the first retros and so forth on. I do appreciate always Jordan brand trying to come as close as possible That's what I always just say. In terms of the quality, can't beat the retro. I already felt the 95 twos. They do feel, oh my goodness. The 95 twos, I don't know what it is. It's the thick cut leather, the way it's shaped, the way you look at it overall, you're just like, man, that shoe looks really good. Just compare them side by side, you see the two differences in the two. One's a little bit more on the thicker cut side of the leather, while the other's a thin side. But again, comparing the two in terms of both how they feel, the 95 pair is, you'll know, it's a lot softer. 2004 pair,
I would say, like, other than like maybe the overall shape of the shoe and the quality of the leather, a lot of people point out the side panels, you know, with that line that goes across up and down the upper, you know, with that being maybe one of the original factors that were incorporated in the OG, other than maybe the white and the red and the Chicago lows. But what would you say? Like, is it the Chicago, the original Chicago 2s have that line on there?
On the lows they did. Now you can kind of see it here too with the white and red pair.
Yeah.
It does have like that red outing. It doesn't have here on the Chicago's on the
yeah.
original.
So I feel like, you know, even when you show the 95, you know, when it doesn't have that piping is what they call it. You know, I appreciate that they didn't include that in the 2022 version. So we have seen versions of that, you know, in previous retros, you know, even with like the 2016,
yeah,
you know, they included that piping on there. So I mean, I guess it just has to deal with a lot of, you know, looking back and trying to figure out, you know, in terms of like Jordan Brand's employees, to figure out like what they want to include in the new retro.
Yeah, like they're never gonna get it down to like initially the original, but I guess it's more so preference wise in a sense.
Like we had discussed off camera too, is that they try to change little things and, you know, try and give you a little bit more of the OG flavor.
Yeah.
Even with the style of the way the wings look on the tongue, like you got a little bit more of a sheen to it versus, you know, a little bit more of a rubber texture feel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And even the font.
Yeah, the 2004 pair, it's like a hard plastic, but then the 2022, very soft, very nice. So it's stuff like this that I prefer. Like, it feels really good. But then when you get down to like the close details, just staring at the shoe, you notice like the small details of the way how it's shaped, the way how it curves, the way the stitching is, even down to the laces and
hole placement, everything.
Yeah, like all these kind of things.
It gets very detailed, very technical. So, you know, you try and figure out from the Jordan Brand's perspective that they try to get it either close or maybe change it up enough to, you know, OG collectors will appreciate what it is. And it's pretty cool just to see them like all laid out here anyways, just to, you know, kind of pick and choose between those details.
Yeah, even on the back of the tongue, this one says 23, little tab.
Yeah.
And then this one doesn't have it. And I'm trying to see if the older pairs have it and they don't. It's just small little details. And then the Nike on the back. This one's red. It's like switched. It's switched.
But then again, I mean, we don't have the men's version of the high, but I mean that might just be, you know, kids.
Yeah. But I mean, this one has it, but then again, that's a different colorway.
I think overall, the thing that just really jumped out to me was the leather quality, how soft the OGs are as comparison to the retros. You know, whether that like how Rolo pointed out, you know, with age or wear, how that softens up. But yeah, that was a quality that I really appreciated in the shoes. OGs.
So these are all the notable differences that we found from the original all the way up to the 2022 current pair. But first, the box. The original pair actually has it with the Wings logo, like a white upper with the black on the bottom. And as you can tell, it says made in Italy. Now, me and Marvin were trying to figure out who is it styled by, but you guys actually see the sticker here and the little sticker price of $99. And then what we also noticed was that the grade school pair actually has both on the front, and then if you turn it around, actually on the back as well.
The men's pair has the made in Italy, while the kids pair has the made in Taiwan,
which is again very interesting because I always thought they were made in Italy, but there goes that.
We're learning something new.
Then you got what I think is one of the best boxes Jordan Brand has ever done, which is the 94-95 retro box. Then we fast forward to the year 2004, comes to this box, the Jordan Face box. Then it gets minimalist side of things, a all black box with a gold Jumpman, followed by this box. You know, when they brought it back out, I was like, man, I really liked it a lot. And then Virgil did his own spin with the punch out holes, a translucent clear box with all the, you know, you can kind of see it here with the tissue and everything, but this is a really cool looking box. Finally, we get the box that a lot of people have always wanted, the Wings logo, Air Jordan logo box. You guys see it here as of 2022. I really appreciate Jordan Brand for doing something like this. This is the part where we've been sitting down discussing, like, okay, there's this, and this, and there's this, and that of all things. But here it is, all the notable differences starting from the original pair.
What we noticed with all of the versions is that size 9.5 and below have 3 eyelets on the shoe. So the original white and red version, we have the 3 eyelets, the plastic eyelets on the side of the shoe. When you start getting into a size 10 and up, you have the 4 eyelets on the side of the shoe.
And this is the original pair.
Yep. And then for a size 13 on the original white and red low, there's 5. So I'm not quite sure where that starts to happen, but you can see the size differences with all the versions. You know, whether it be like between a low and a high, but that's it. But with the 2022, they kind of went back to that version where they went with, you know, size 9.5 and up on the 4 eyelets. I believe a size 13, my friend has a size 13. It kept with the 4 eyelets on the side. So it was pretty interesting to see with the original low had 5. Notable difference or similarity between all of them is that the eyelets on all of them had metal on it. So
yeah,
kudos to Jordan Brand for keeping that pretty much the same throughout the entire lineup of the OG and the retros.
As far as the padding, throughout the years it gets a little bit more slimmer, but I would say in terms of the highs, this 2022 pair actually is the closest one, probably the closest one.
Yeah, there's a lot more padding in that 2022 version, which was it was pretty surprising, you know, going back to the other versions where you get, you know, just minimal padding. I mean, still significant, but you know, you get most of the beef into the 2020.
So that's really nice. In terms of the sock liner, the sock line material, it's a lot more soft. I don't know what material it is, but it's a lot soft. As we go down the line of the 2004 pair, 2016, what's interesting, what Marvin noticed was that the sock liner looks like a faded black-ish in a way, while the previous years actually is like a true black, a darker black. So that's actually a cool little take on it. One thing I also did notice is that the 2004 only had the 23 on the back of the tongue. None of the other pairs had it, so that's an interesting take. I don't know what it is, or, you know, maybe some significant reason behind it, but the originals don't have it, the first retros don't have it, this pair has it, and the 2022 does not have it. So that's something very interesting.
All right, so when we speak specifically with the lows, you can see a lot of the curvature, like even in this size 13, like you can see how much of a dip that actually creates there. It kind of exposes your ankle a little bit more, and protecting, I guess, your Achilles heel there with how high it is. Size 10 version, you can see that it's not as prominent on this version. So whether or not that's just due to factory or just the way that they differentiated that between the colorways, I thought that was a pretty interesting take. Virgil's pair, the off-white pair, you know, kind of went back to that version.
Yeah, you can kind of see it here where it's a dip, which is very interesting. Another thing that we did notice was that on the originals, the 87, on the highs, the white and red, the Chicagos are with a red insole with a white Nike Air. And then when you get to the grade school pair, it's actually like a black with the white. Then the 95 and the 2004 has red insole with a black stamp. And then once you get to the current model, the 2022, actually reverted back to the original, which is a black insole with a white Nike Air. So again, subtle differences here and there, but we're picking them up. The Nike Air on the back, what I did notice is like different versions, or I would say different tones of red, like the deeper red or a brighter red, and the spacing with the Nike. That's just something that I've noticed on these. On the like the 04 pair, it's like a maroonish cranberry color in a sense, but when you look at the 95, it's more of that like true red in a sense. And then when you get to the 2022 pair, like a mix in between, but it has like this super glossy shine to it compared to others where it's like a matte finish tone to it. So again, it's something, you know, that you start picking up as the more you look into the shoes.
Shape is on the back. And
yeah,
the
like one is curved, one is straight.
The white and red pair, you can see a little bit more of a straight back in relation to maybe the earlier retro in the 95, which is pretty similar. But then when you start coming down the pipeline with 2004, 2022, you can see a little bit more of a curve toward the Achilles. I'm not sure if, you know, what that has to do with performance or whatever, but it's just the way that the, you know, the differences are with the shape of the shoe, the look of the shoe and all that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how Jordan Brand kind of like fine tunes and, you know, has produced all these different versions over the years. From a consumer standpoint, I think, you know, people care more about the leather.
You know what I mean? I think they care more about how it feels.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
How it feels on foot, whether it's gonna crease, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't want their shoes creasing. I think that's why Jordan Brand kind of makes it to appease, you know, the OG collectors and the newer style consumers. They try to find a balance in between so that, you know, I guess OG collectors can appreciate what they've put forward, and then the new collectors or the new consumers can kind of appreciate how they're kind of doing reimagined.
We didn't want to take note that on the soles, because I think someone's going to say something that, you know, where did it go again? Was
2016.
2016 is this is the one with the Nike where it does have the size, like the number on the soles. I know the original has it. The 94 does not have it. The 2004 does not have it. It has it with the Jordan. You get into 2016 again, it does have it with the Nike with the 10. And then you get the Virgil's, which doesn't have it, but you know, it still went with that, going for is his own interpretation on it. And then again, the Nike with the size with the Nike. So again, a good take on it. You guys will see on Marvin's channel, but I think there's a lot of other small things, but I think we pointed most of the major parts.
So overall, I mean, what grade would you give the?
Ooh, my scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah. I mean, you're the OG monster here with, you know, your versions here. So you're holding the 2022 retro pair Jordan Brand has produced.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give these a 2. I'm just kidding.
2?
No. I'm gonna give these actually a solid. I think I'm gonna give these a solid. I really want to say 10. I think honestly like a 9 or a 10. 9.5 out of 10. It's really up there. I think number 1, it's an underrated shoe. Number 2, it's a shoe that doesn't get a lot of love. Handsing back underrated. And just seeing the key notable differences that they put on this shoe and bringing back that box, I think that was a really major selling point to it. But overall, they knocked it out of the park with this one. You know, that's just my opinion based on it. But overall, I think these are a solid shoe pickup. I think what it would have been better is if they did like a re-image or reimagine on like this shoe, since they're already doing it. I think they kind of just said, all right, let's just give him this one, we'll forget about it, and then we'll come back to it at another time.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, what they would eventually do. I think they're just trying to get a pulse on, you know, what the community thinks about the two overall, and kind of, you know, bring it back as far as collabs. Or this is the first time that they've really, other than the Virgils, did an original style on the shoe back in it, you know, in its current retro era. Yeah, I could see them doing like a vintage look. You know, you can see like the OGs, the guys that, you know, that pre-age on there.
Otherwise than that, I think they knocked that out of the park. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Either way, it's up there in a high scale grade.
I agree.
All right, you guys, as you can see, we just got done with pretty much all the original down to the last retro, the 2022. And thanks so much again to Marvin for providing space. You know, doing this collaboration was really special for 2023. Going off like the rock ship emoji. Please comment, like, and subscribe. His link will be down below in the description. You guys already know what this is. And with that being said, much love. Take care. Peace.